What's going on, guys? This is Martyrs Brigade 99 coming to you once again with another session of Killzone Shadow Fall. Alright guys, we are back at it in the factory, and this time this is going to be my very first scout class commentary. Now, for all of you guys that like viewing videos for awesomeness, you can watch, but I am far from awesome with the scout class. In other words, I've only used the scout class so as to get more unlocks, nothing else. And as a matter of fact, as soon as I max out the unlocks for this class, I will probably never return. Now, you know, as with some things, you know, there have been times where, you know, I kind of looked down upon a certain thing until I invested a certain amount of time, and then once I did that, I started to like it. That might be the case with this class, but at least at this point, it doesn't really look at it. I mean, it doesn't really look that way, right? So I don't know. I think once I'm done with all these unlocks, I'll probably be done. So enough about that intro. Let's go ahead and start getting into tactics. Now, when it comes to this spot and mark, right, or scan ability, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The primary ability for the scout class. You know, I've heard a lot of people make the argument that, you know, the reason why the scout class don't have better weapons is because they're not supposed to be directly in the fight. Which, yeah, I can understand. But if that's the case, then how will spot and mark benefit the team? Because in other words, if you will make the argument that, you know, they're not necessarily supposed to be at the fight, therefore, you know, they have weaker weapons or weapons that are not, you know, a little more competitive. You know, if that's the argument, then you need to do something with the spot and mark. In other words, if you want me to be able, actually, let me take that back. It's either one of two things. Either the spot and mark or scan ability is for the individual, you know, just to mark enemy locations for himself, or it's for the team. Now, if you want to make the argument that it's for the individual, then I can understand why his weapons kind of suck. If you want to make the argument that he's supposed to be for the team, well, he's going to have to get in there, because if you guys notice, where are the enemies? I'm sitting here on the enemy side trying to scan so that I can spot and mark for the rest of the team, because it's not just to benefit me. And the reason why I'm stressing that point is because I've noticed a lot of scout class members, like, they'll be way back in their little sniping post, and then they'll just hit the spot and mark back there. And I would think to myself, like, okay, how is spotting and marking in your little camping location benefiting everybody else? So in other words, this is one of the reasons why some people would argue that the scout class kind of sucks as far as weapons are concerned, because I died so many times. As a matter of fact, I think I went 30 and 31. So I'm basically at a like 1.0, just below 1.0, right? I think I was either 30 and 31 or 31 and 32. Either way it go, there was one difference between my kills and my losses. And a lot of that was because once I got head to head with a certain individual, like, I got outgunned and outclassed every single time. Alright, got a few brutal melees right here, but he got me back for the comeback, so we're good to go. So you guys are going to notice a lot of times that when I'm on the enemy side, I'm spotting and marking, not only for myself, but also for the benefit of the team, because if they can see where the enemies are coming from, they can prepare their fires. And, you know, personally, that's what I think it should be for, not just for me, as I stated previously. So enough about the spot and mark. I think you guys should get the point by now. Now, let's talk tactics relative to certain missions. Now, this is actually, we're waiting for a mission type. So what will we have? You guys know there's a lot of action going on here. Okay, capture and connect. Several things you can do with the capture and connect, because like I said, if you try to go down on the front lines, unless you catch somebody by surprise, you're going to be in trouble. Now granted, they had a patch not too long ago that supposedly buffed the spore, but the spore still sucks in my personal opinion. But you know, the only reason why I'm using the spore currently is because for the purposes of the unlocks, I've maxed out all the kills required for the Camerad, the Vulture, and the Force. Right now I just need to get the M6 Punt and Spore kills. Once I get done with those, I'm pretty much done. Right now, at the same time, I will have to get some remote C4 kills. I've completed all of the unlocks for this standard, what was that, M49 grenade kills. And I'm almost done with the laser trip mine kills. So right after that, I'll have to work on the remote C4, which will be a little more difficult. One thing that I notice about that remote C4 that I absolutely hate is the fact that okay, let's just say I deploy a C4, and then let's just say immediately after that I need to go into cloak. Well, once you go into cloak, you cannot come back to activate the remote C4 despite not using it. Despite not using it again. I don't know why it will get rid of it. You guys notice that? I got a defender kill by placing the remote C4 right on that capture and connect point. Right, now keep in mind, like I said before, is it supposed to be, you know, the be all end all? No, it's not. But at least it's a deterrent, and at least it's a contribution from the scout class. So either you can put a remote C4 or a laser trip mine right on the post. And if you guys notice, here's another remote C4. So seeing how aggressive this team is, I'm just going to sit here, wait in the background. Maybe I'll hit a scan every now and then, but if you guys notice, someone already hit the scan and I'm hitting it now. So I can notice that here are the enemies. Alright, so I got a teammate who tightened him up, but right after that he got meleeed himself. And you guys notice, just got a kill by detonating the C4. So like I said before, is it a be-all end-all? No, it's not a be-all end-all, but at least it's a slow deterrent, and it's a way in which the scout class can benefit the team. Because for the longest, you know, I would understand the descriptions that GG would offer for the scout class, but noticing how people would play the scout class, it's just kind of like, dude, so many people love using the scout class and they contribute like zilch to the team. So as much as I complained about it, I figured to myself, I said, you know what, let me just go ahead and try to offer a demonstration and an explanation for some tactics that can be used for this class. Now, like I said before, there are a few guys that I've run into in a lot of random war zones that are awesome. One guy in particular, I think I mentioned it in the previous video. There's this dude named Pink Hat. That guy is so ridiculously annoying with this class, but I mean, it's only annoying because he's effective. At the end of the day, you can't discredit the guy. I'm starting to think that the scout class is that man's bread and butter because he uses it a lot, at least when I'm faced, you know, either with or against him. Either he uses it a lot just for the sake of unlocks, or is really one of his favorite classes. Right, so shout out to Pink Hat if he just so happened to be watching the brigade. Alright, so I got killed right there. Unfortunately, I was getting ready to go ahead and activate that remote C4. And you know, sometimes you have to kind of switch back and forth. And actually, unfortunately, I switched to the M49 grenade. And on a number of occasions, you guys are going to notice that I actually forgot I had a regular grenade because I kind of threw it out as if it was a laser trip mine or a remote C4 when actually it was a standard grenade. Right, so sometimes, you know, seeing that you have 3 grenade options, you will have to kind of keep in mind what grenade type or explosion type that you're using. And you guys are going to notice it. You know, I'm just going to kind of just throw them in random places until I'm like, oh, surprise, dipshit, you have the wrong type of grenade. Right? I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, I kind of go through those blooper type moments sometimes. I mean, as a matter of fact, I know on some maps, like, I'll forget what team I'm on, right? Until I shoot a teammate and I'm like, oh, okay. All right, he's on my team. All right, so enough about that. Still doing capture and connect. Looks like we're trying to, okay, well, looks like we lost that mission and we're down 0-2, their favor. Alright, so we are doing, what's this? Search and destroy, defend. And for a lot of you guys that may not be familiar, you guys notice spot and mark. So that gives my team an opportunity to see where the enemies are standing. So, you know, in the event that they need to flank, they should be able to take advantage of that spot and mark. So it helps. The abilities help. I just wish that, you know, in so much as these guys use the scout class as often as they do, I just wish they would be a little more beneficial to the team. Because, you know, like I said before, it's not about individual playstyles or individual performance, at least in war zones. Right? It should be about how each particular member contributes to, you know, each team's win, and unfortunately sometimes their losses, right? But we would all like to increase those wins and reduce those losses, right? And hopefully we can do that by, you know, paying close attention to the thing. You guys notice I thought I was throwing out a laser trip mine right there, and I said, oh crap, I forgot I have the standard M49 grenades. Alright, so I'm just hitting the spot and mark. You guys notice there's enemies over there, but they're doing a good job with these air support drones. Actually, I got killed by that particular drone. Actually, I can't say that particular drone, but I know they did a good job with those air drones, because I got killed by like 5 of them. It was actually getting annoying. And I was sitting there like, dude, how come these support class and anyone else is not shooting these drones down? But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Everyone doesn't have missiles, and some people fail to get rid of them once they see them deployed, right? But I really think a lot of these things really have to do with a more experienced individual and experienced teams versus inexperienced individuals and inexperienced teams. Now, granted, I know some people may say, well, actually, as long as you have enough experience, you know, you should be able to carry some of the inexperienced members. Well, yeah, that's true. But, you know, as I've talked about in previous videos, if a lot of those inexperienced guys are huge team deathmatch fanatics, well, since in most cases they prioritize kills as opposed to missions, in some cases it doesn't matter what you do if they make kills a priority over objectives. Right? So it just is what it is. Once again, I died. Right, that's definitely going to be a classic theme when I'm playing the scout class. And, you know, like I said before, I don't really mind. You know, I don't really play the scout class a lot, but when I do, I try my hardest to make the best use out of it. All right, so I'm on their side, so I'm going to try to do a spot and mark. Didn't notice any enemies. All right, so I got my laser trip mine. I'm going to go ahead and try to deactivate the target since we're defending. And unfortunately, oh, actually it looks like I was able to do it. So hopefully that laser trip mine right on the face of it will serve as a slight deterrent. Now, one thing to remember, the laser trip mine doesn't have a huge radius. So in selecting a location for them, you know, you kind of want to pick an area that is either has a lot of traffic, or a direction to which a player is more likely to approach. I'll just put it that way. In other words, when it comes to some of those search and destroy missions, I'll put it right on the face, because a lot of those guys, they just sprint in and don't really pay attention. And once they sprint in, you'll get a kill. Other guys, you know, they may not necessarily approach the target head on, and perhaps they may try to set the target off on the side. And when you set it off on the side, they may miss the laser trip mine altogether. So, you know, it just comes with a lot of experience, and as with anything else, it comes with a lot of trial and error, right? I mean, it's trial and error with everything. Trial and error with selecting beacon locations, trial and error. You guys notice that sucky weapon? I swear, as soon as I get these 200 kills with this spore, I am definitely done with it. Alright, so we still have a few enemies spot and marked. So I'm going to go closer to their side, try to get a few cloak kills, because I still need to satisfy that objective. And I think you need 400 in order to have that the cloak maxed out. So, you know, I'm slowly inching my way to the 400 mark. I mean, it just seems kind of cheap, personally, and we're all just talking about relative to my own play style. All right, so we have an enemy over there, but luckily we have an assault guy who got a brutal melee on him. Basically, we're just talking about relative to my own playstyle. It just seems pretty cheap just to sit around, hide all the time, and do these cloak kills. But hey, I mean, if you need them for the unlocks, at the end of the day, you need them for the unlocks, right? And you know, another thing is, like I said before, is all relative to a person's personal play style. I like to run and gun, right? So you'll catch me in most cases playing support class, but in other cases I'll switch back and forth between. Okay, well, let me just finish this. A lot of times I'll switch back and forth between the support and the assault. Now, if you guys notice, I just put a laser trip mine on the beacon. This is a beacon theft mission. And actually, did it explode? I think it exploded. It didn't show that I got a kill because I was in between screens. But I actually got a kill for that. And that's another good deterrent. Like I said before, either you can... Now this is BS. I tried to jump past him, but actually I guess I jumped too far and he was able to brutal melee me instead of me brutal meleeing or death from above on him. You know, because you can do those Assassin's Creed type kills. And I thought when I jumped, I would have been able to do it, but I was unsuccessful. Now that's a super bad spawn beacon location. Like as soon as I spawned in, all I see is like assault class and bullets to the face. So I just said to myself, okay, I will not be spawning in at that location again because that's nothing but a death trap. Alright, so I'm going to go right back over to the beacon. Once again, lay a laser trip mine on it because we're trying to be a little tactical. Right? Because we know they're going to pursue the beacon. And at least if we can kill, you know, let's see. Carrier killer. You guys notice that? Got another carrier killer kill. The bad thing about it is you only get one laser trip mine. Now I wish you did get two, you know, but I mean it is what it is. That's kind of the downside to not having the set in place ammo crates like we had in both Killzones 2 and 3. Since you don't have the set ammo crates, like whenever you're low on grenades or anything else, you basically just have to wait till you die, or luckily hope that you have a support class who has an ammo crate down, because if not, you're basically screwed. Alright, so I'm just going to go right back, since we're still doing beacon thefts, throw yet another laser trip mine directly on the target, serve as a little deterrent. There we go. And I know there's going to be a hotshot assault class or opposition team member who's going to go and pursue it. So we're just going to check out the screen real quick, and I know I'm going to get another laser trip mine kill sometime soon, and hopefully you guys will be able to see it on screen. Okay, so I'm in between screens, so I don't know if I got the kill or not. Right, because once you're in between screens, it won't show if you got a kill. You'll hear a sound and you'll get the points, but you won't be able to see. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch weapons, because I just, you know, that spore, I mean, it is what it is. You know, I've seen certain videos where people doing hotshot moves with the spore, but keep in mind, it's one thing to piece a lot of clips together. It's another thing for someone to show a steady war zone or a steady team deathmatch and show their performance from beginning to end. Like anyone can piece a few clips together and you can, you know, and you'll have the impression of, holy crap, that spore is OP. But if you actually just record a full session, you guys notice, got another carrier killer. You guys notice that? Those laser trip mines really can help when it comes to especially these beacon missions. Right? So that is the beacon theft, beacon retrieval, right? Because I mean, there's even been times where I've set them on beacon retrieval right before I pick it up. Because think about it, let's just say they kill you. Well, the laser trip mine is still on the beacon, so even if they try to pick up, blam, still got an explosion, right? So it still will slow down their progress. Even if it slows it down a little bit, it still slows down their progress, and that's all we need. Alright, so enough about that. I think I will upload one more Scout class video because, you know, scout class is not really my bread and butter, but the focus of this video was to really talk about tactics and how the scout class can be a little more effective and beneficial to the team, as opposed to just sitting back and getting their own individual kills. Alright guys, so hey, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and until next time, Martyr's Brigade is